Back to the Common Sense Crypto channel, everyone. This is Rich making another video on XRP today, as usual. So wherever you are in this vast planet, I hope you're all having a nice day today. We're going to discuss XRP, and I should have mentioned this in the last video. In the third quarter of 2025, Alt Capital Group, a subsidiary of Hyperscale Data, intends to introduce an XRP lending platform for publicly traded US corporations. More institutional adoption once more. Only publicly traded companies on the New York Stock Exchange, NYSE America, and all three tiers of the NASDAQ stock market will have access to the platform. Applicants who meet the requirements can apply to borrow up to a certain quantity of XRP. Each loan has terms and conditions that are agreed upon by ACG and the applicant. The loan details will be posted on-chain after they are finalized. The loans are convertible into registered shares of the applicant's common stock and are anticipated to be backed by the applicant's assets. ACG anticipates using XRP futures contracts on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange to hedge market exposure because the loans are currently expected to be repaid in XRP. This will add a new level of risk management and financial sophistication to lending based on cryptocurrencies. The XRP ledger will be used by the platform to provide quick, inexpensive, and safe lending, supported by ACG's recently declared plan to buy up to $10 million, 0 cents worth of XRP. As more and more people take out loans, I have no doubt that number will increase. Over time, this might possibly develop into something really significant. This is the person to whom you will lend your XRP in order to generate passive revenue. This is fantastic since it finally puts a stop to a lot of the tension between the Bitcoin maxis and the XRP community. The skull of Satoshi, which Ripple gave to the Bitcoin community, was a special guest at Bitcoin 2025. Now, the skull will be permanently housed at Nashville's Bitcoin Museum. Brad Garlinghouse stated this: "The original purpose of the Satoshi skull was to draw attention to the energy consumption of the blockchain. And for many people worldwide, including myself, it serves as a reminder and symbol of Bitcoin's amazing durability today," he says. As blockchain and cryptocurrency technologies gain popularity, respect, and understanding, it's past time for us to put aside our disagreements and cooperate to advance the sector. I hope this action keeps people reminded that there are more things in common between the Bitcoin cryptocurrency ecosystems than we may realize. It doesn't matter what kind of cryptocurrency someone owns. They came here for whatever reason. Something told them to invest in Bitcoin years ago, which is how even the Bitcoin maxis ended themselves here. Even now, some people continue to invest in Bitcoin. The same is true of XRP. The same is true for whichever cryptocurrency you choose. All Brad wants is fairness in the marketplace. The Bitcoin maxis' decision to distance themselves from the other members of their crypto community is also beyond me. Chris Larson stated this: "Over the past 2 years, Bitcoin has undergone a spectacular energy revolution. According to a recent Cambridge research, employing more than 50% renewable energy sources, including as nuclear, wind, and hydropower, and frequently using trapped or flared gas that would otherwise be squandered. I'm happy to see Scully back in the world." Reminding people to be innovative and mindful of the environment. The fact that Ripple gave this to the Bitcoin community struck me as a very kind gesture. Naturally, though, they will continue to criticize Ripple and the XRP community whenever they can. I have no doubt about it. Many claim that Ripple was abandoning cross-border payments. However, this article, "Cross-Border Payments, A Guide to International Payments," was later removed. This article is also new. The payment flows are the subject of their conversation. They are discussing examples of cross-border payments, automated clearinghouses, wire transfers, card payments, money transfer operators, and cryptocurrency payments. As you might imagine, there will be a lot of different payments made every day, and people are still unaware of that. They estimate that burning enough, they only did that. After then, they also made acquisitions. Additionally, I anticipate more purchases in 2025. Real estate tokenization on the XRP ledger, from idea to reality. Modernization of the Columbia Land Registry. Purchasing title deed tokenization through Hong Kong property-backed loans. Additionally, this will spread to other nations. Tokenization, the iceberg is still only the beginning. When it begins to truly get up steam and there is a lot of value moving every day, this is going to be huge. Individuals will be making investments in items they have never made before. Imagine that the value of your XRP skyrockets and you decide to benefit from it. However, I would like to put that profit back into something else. Perhaps you made another investment in tokenized assets. Perhaps you purchased an upcoming film or an album that is soon to be released. Given that, under the 2028 presidential election. How large this becomes over time is too soon to tell. Michael Branch is the source for this. At a $6,200,000,000 0 cents valuation, Airwallex seeks $300 million 0 cents to create the banking system of the future. This is significant because Wallach wants to grow. They will use the money to speed up their go-to-market initiatives in Europe, North America, and Southeast Asia, as well as to keep growing its financial infrastructure into new regions, including Japan, Korea, the United Arab Emirates, and Latin America. What's fantastic about this Airwallex is that it uses Ripple. They make use of Ripple's technology and occasionally XRP as well. China grants Airwallex a license to accept internet payment in 2023. That occurred. Accordingly, Ripple already has Rail installed in South Africa, Brazil, India, China, and Russia, each and every BRICS nation. Therefore, the money that is currently in meme coins will eventually turn into something that is truly valuable. We're still waiting for the Rippleverse SEC case to be resolved, but the SEC has already dropped the Binance complaint and dismissed several others. This ought to have been resolved by now. The judge should quit putting things off and simply come out with a decision. Simply finish the lawsuit, because as soon as it is concluded, the XRP community will proceed. When that occurs, we as individual investors will profit because institutional adoption will follow the case's conclusion. However, it's good to see that the Binance case is now resolved. MoonPay is the source of this. Unfortunately, I have to tell you that this is actually bearish. 21 individuals dressed as cows danced around the Bitcoin at the Bitcoin event, taking over the conference on Bitcoin. It makes me think of something you would see at an Ethereum gathering. Do you recall Vitalik wearing different outfits? This will not be present at the upcoming XRP X Apex. But here's how I see things, so be it if you think that's fantastic. All I can say is that BlackRock intends to purchase 10% of Circle's first public offering shares. It appears that Circle will proceed with its first public offering. 10% of USDC issuer Circle IPO shares are sought after by BlackRock. As of right now, there are still rumors that Ripple will buy Circle. That's probably off the table now. I believe Circle will survive as long as possible. They just, in my opinion, bargain with Coinbase in order to escape the billions of dollars that Coinbase is keeping from them. However, it's still possible that Ripple will eventually buy Circle. However, I still see people hype that up every day, so I simply wanted to share the news. It's all rumors and conjecture until Brad speaks out about it. I think so, but we are investors in XRP. We're going to turn a profit in 2026 as well as 2025. When Christmas rolls around this year, XRP will appear very different from what it did the previous year. Furthermore, individuals continue to believe that XRP will never move for whatever reason. The weak hands are shaken out by that. You can't be among those who are shaken out. All you need to do is wait for XRP to start trading. The FOMO will be completely crazy once it occurs. I'm telling you, there will be an unprecedented amount of excitement surrounding XRP, and the institutional adoption is now taking place. The initial indications of institutional adoption are prepared. This will be very significant. This run will be unlike anything we have ever experienced. But in the meantime, have patience, maintain your optimism. Let's make money together. That being said, I will now conclude this video. Thank you for watching, everyone. Thanks to everybody. The next one, we'll see you. Enjoy your evening.